Stephanie, I want to go to your work out of Dublin and Sciences Po, which is a synthesis of all this politics and economics. Do you understand the economic program of Mayor Johnson?
I mean, insofar as he's provided the details of it, I think, yes, we're probably looking at a much more fiscally loose approach, particularly if we're to take him at his word that he's going for an October 31st deadline. However, realistically, I don't know if he'll get a chance to implement that policy, because I think that a general election might be forced upon him long before he gets to do so.
So, Stephanie, if there was a general election in the next, let's say, 8 months, how do you model that, right? What do pound traders look at if there's a chance that actually Labour, with their, I guess, new manifesto asking for a second referendum, become the people in charge?
Well, I think that's the big challenge for markets, is going to be weighing off the Labour Party benefits and cons. Because if we look at the Labour Party national policy, there are huge concerns, and clients are always saying to me, you know, we're really nervous about a Labour government because of the risks of nationalisation and less business-friendly policy. However, on the other side, you get this counterweight, which is they're willing to do a referendum. That referendum can be supportive of staying in, which we know is supportive of the pound. And so, in terms of the way that we look at it, we actually do multiple scenarios for different kinds of a Labour government. So if the Labour government has a large majority, there's a greater risk that you get that more nationalisation, business not so friendly policy, in which case the pound might suffer, even against the kind of the temporary counterweight, which is that referendum. So for me, it comes down to how big a majority could they get, and then to what extent do markets are just so relieved about no deal Brexit that they're willing to put up with a kind of a more nationalist policy regime.
Right, Stephanie, what does this all mean for the Bank of England?
Well, I mean, this is the reality. Hey, everyone's talking about the Bank of England, and against a backdrop of the ECB and the Fed loosening, the big question mark is around how the BOE behaves. But clearly, they're in a kind of a wait-and-see mode. And the challenge is, can you give any kind of Bank of England strong signal against the risk of a no-deal Brexit? Obviously, in the case of a no-deal Brexit, that would certainly have implications for the Bank of England in terms of having to loosen policy significantly, alongside what I'd expect would be huge fiscal. But in the context of a Labour government, it becomes a little more nuanced, because again, it just depends on the extent to which their policies can be passed through. However, in a world where the UK remains a member of the EU and there's relative stability around that, you're looking at more of a normal kind of environment in which the BOE can then start to make these decisions.